Sandra Miller of Taylorsville, Utah, spent Halloween afternoon in her backyard feeding her son's pit bulls, which consisted of 2 adult dogs and 5 pups. Sandra Miller used her mobile phone to dial 911, saying that she was being bitten and attacked by the dogs and that the dogs belonged to her son, Jeremy Miller. She explained to the 911 operator that she is still in the backyard and the dogs were still attacking her. As the police arrived at the woman's home, they climbed over the fenced-in backyard and saw several pit bulls, 5 small pups, 1 adult male pit bull, and 1 adult female pit bull. All the dogs appeared to be in a frenzy and were running around the yard with blood in their mouths. The officers used pepper spray to clear them away from Sandra Miller so she could receive medical aid. She was lying in the backyard on her back. She was covered with wounds to her head, her hands, and her legs. When the officers got to her, she was unable to move. The police observed that her leg had no flesh on it and only the bone remained. When the female pit bull became violent and tried to attack one of the officers, she was shot and killed on scene.
Good enough. Ma'am, it's the police!
Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes, here he comes, here he comes!
Okay.
Able to view the victim in the backyard by looking over a neighbor's fence, where they observed her laying there, obviously injured, with the dogs still attacking her. They were able to gain access to the backyard by jumping over the fence, and once they jumped over the fence, they were able to pepper spray the dogs, who became aggressive toward them, to get the dogs to move away from the victim. Unified fire arrived. They were able to gain access to the backyard by, in essence, breaking the fence so they could get back to the backyard and rescue the victim from there. The victim was transported to the hospital in critical condition while the officers were still on the scene, and animal control was on their way out. And animal control arrived. The dogs again became aggressive. One of the dogs that all these dogs were pit bulls. One of the pit bulls broke free as animal control was trying to secure it. Came at the officers, and the officers ended up shooting and killing that dog. Animal control was able to get the other dogs and take possession of the other dogs. It's our understanding from the time that these dogs belonged to her adult son, who was not at home at the time, but later responded to the scene when the officers were able to contact him.
And Jeremy was contacted by the responding officers. When he arrived home, he was upset about his fence being damaged and his dogs being taken by animal control. Sandra Miller arrived at the hospital in critical condition. Police were unable to speak to her or ask what led to the attack. Jeremy later surrendered the dogs to the city, and they were put down. According to the police, the adult male dog was only a year, the female was 3 years old, and the puppies were just 3 months. Sandra Miller died a week later. She was described as a loving grandmother and was 63 years old when she succumbed to her injuries. In one fatal day, Jeremy Miller lost both his mother and his dogs. The effects of a dog attack. The dog is attacking, and dogs are inclined to drag their prey down and then maul them. The dog attempts to disable the victim by biting at the ankles and the limbs. Once the subject has been taken down, the animal bites the throat, the neck, and the cranium, and if the attack continues, death will be the result. Dogs eat before their victim is dead. When a pack of dogs are involved in the attack, each member of the gang pulls and tears at the victim while eating. A truly horrible fate.
Tonight, a Taylorsville man is facing criminal charges after authorities say his pit bulls attacked and killed his mother. 38-year-old Jeremy Miller was charged in Taylorsville Justice Court with 7 counts of an attack by an animal. 63-year-old Sandra Miller was attacked while feeding her son's pit bulls in October. Her injuries were so severe that she had a leg amputated in the hospital, but she died a week later. According to charges, the dogs were still extremely aggressive when police showed up, and it took several police officers and animal control to keep the dogs away from the victim and contained in the yard.